All right, welcome to the Zone Live State Championship Edition. I don't think anybody sitting at this table and probably anybody watching is surprised that we're still doing this as we approach State Championship weekend. Guys, this is East Texas, and this is what East Texas does. I honestly don't remember the last time we didn't have teams playing for a state championship. We didn't get one last year in East Texas. We had several teams playing, didn't quite get one. Guaranteed one this time around. We've got Carthage and Kilgore playing each other at noon Friday at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. I like to call it the Yalma Hall. Some people call it Jerry's World. We've got an exciting game. We've got with me today. We've got George Whitley. George has covered the Bulldogs all season long. The Kilgore Bulldogs, the Kilgore Bulldogs all season long for us. George is a veteran, 27 years, 28 years, kind of like myself. And I didn't realize this until I saw him posted on Facebook that this is George's first state championship game that he's going to cover. But let's get right to the game, and I'm going to start with George because George did cover Kilgore. I guess you've covered every one of their games, and he hit a few other games for us when they had a night or two off. But George has seen Kilgore play all year long. George, just general thoughts on Kilgore and why they're in this game.
Well, one thing is they're just a brutally physical team, and they just enforce their will on other opponents. And Coach Wood is a tremendous defensive coach, and they have definitely had as good a defense as probably in the state of Texas this year in Class 3A. And offensively, they line up and they just enforce their will. Like I said, they've got Kevin Justice, Juju Brown, Aaron Foy, Jacoby Vidal, you name it. Anybody that carries the mail for Kilgore is going to get positive yardage. And Benny Colbert has done a tremendous job from the quarterback position. He's equally effective when he throws the ball as when he runs the ball, and when he runs the offense in general. What's lost on everybody is he hadn't have a lot of passing yards. But if you look at the plays, when he completes passes, they're usually either they're going to go all the way or they're going to be major long gains.
Right,
So,
and Hayden touched on that in the story today. Just they don't throw the ball a lot, but it's all. And this reminds me, and I'm going to talk about this a little later. Reminds me of the state championship team in 2004. Throw the ball when they need to throw it, and it's usually a big play. Hayden's been to practice 2 days in a row. He just literally got here 2 minutes ago from Kilgore practice. Hayden, what are you seeing from Kilgore over there today?
At this point in the season, every coach said, it's just business as usual. But I really believe that about Kilgore. I guess I saw him in practice 2 weeks ago, and then once last week, and then a few times this week. And every time it's been the exact same. Like George said, they line up and they bring that physicality that they use on the field. They're using that in that indoor facility over there. So just a lot of excitement, as probably it's going on in Carthage too, but really a really focused team over there in Kilgore.
Yeah, and it helps that Coach Wood has been here before. He was an assistant on that 2004 team that won the state championship. Mentioned that team earlier. I got to cover that state championship game when Kilgore defeated Dallas Lincoln. Again, that team reminds me so much of this team. And one of the things, I'm an offensive lineman myself, and I love just the lineup, smash mouth football. And that team, they had Keith Gilliam rush for a little over 2,000 yards. And I literally talked to an offensive lineman at the end of one of those games where they rushed. They had 34 plays in the second half of the game. 30 of them were running plays to Keith Gilliam. And it was 8-9 yards at a time. And I talked to Lon Roberts, who was an offensive lineman, ended up playing at Louisiana Tech for Kilgore. And he told me, he said, we were literally at times lining up and telling the guy in front of us, we're about to run the play right here, and just to see if they could stop us, and they didn't. That's a lot of fun when you can do that. Now, I don't know that they're going to do that against Kilgore. Against Carthage. Carthage, they get a lot of love on offense, and we'll talk about that. But Brandon, talk about the defense first. Brandon Ogden's been out to Carthage practice this week. And he's been writing some good stuff about Carthage. What tell us a little bit about I guess first of all, let's talk Carthage defense.
Yeah, and all the stuff I've had this week's focused on the offense. And when everyone talks about Carthage, they talk about their high flying offense, but their defense has been really good this year. And they don't shut out a lot of people, but they limit them and get the ball back to their offense quick. They force a lot of turnovers and just kind of they shut down the big plays. That's what Coach Surratt, when I was talking to him yesterday, he said that's the big thing with the defense is they're good at forcing turnovers and shutting down big plays. They may give up some yards, but not in big chunks. They make teams work for it.
Exactly. And defense again, like Brandon said, kind of gets overlooked a little bit with the numbers that Carthage puts up on offense. It all starts with Blake Bogenschutz, the quarterback. This kid is just phenomenal. If you read Brandon's story, hope you did. Coach Surratt called him the smartest football player that he's ever coached. And I remember some really good football players at Carthage, some really smart kids, really dynamic playmaking kids. So to put this kid at the top of that list, as far as brain power and leading a team and everything, that says a lot about Bogenschutz. His numbers are crazy: 55 touchdowns, I believe, 3 interceptions. It's phenomenal what they're doing there. They have a running back that's closing in on 2,000 yards, Tevin Pipkin. They have 2 receivers that are just phenomenal receivers, and T. Gorey and O'Keary Rutherford. Between them, I think I had 147 catches, 2,600 yards, more than 40 touchdowns. Gorey has 28. And again, going back to, I covered the 2000 state championship team for Carthage. Same type of team, especially on offense. Anthony Morgan was a record-setting quarterback. Bogenschutz has broken most of his records. They had Jalen Claiborne and Cortland Ware and another receiver, and I honestly can't remember his name. These kids, went on and they're playing in college right now. They had a running back, Hunter Holland, who rushed for over 2,000 yards and was a good receiver out of the backfield. And it just reminds me so much of this team and what they can do. I just, matchup-wise, I honestly don't know where to start, as far as a key. But I think the big thing, and we've all talked about this, and I'll let George expand on this a little bit, but to me, the key is, Carthage is going to get its points. If they have the ball, they're going to score, not every time, but they're going to score their points. So, stands to me that the key is to limit the number of times they get the ball, and that's the kind of offense that Kilgore has. That run the ball, control the clock thing.
They do, and Jack, I would point back a couple of years ago. Kilgore goes into the last game of the season. It's when they were in 4A, and they played a team called the White House Wildcats. Randy McFarland had Hunter Taylor, and they had Mahomes and Mentor at receiver, and they were averaging 50 points a game. And Kilgore beat them 64-24 that night.
Right.
And what Coach Wood did so well that night is they had Hunter Taylor on his backside the whole game.
Right.
Kilgore's strength is going to have to be getting Bogenschutz off the field in 3 and out, and then getting that offense in there, because their best defense is their offense when it's working. And Hayden was there last Saturday over in Corsicana. It was a thing of beauty watching him just hammer and gash holes in Stephenville. And Stephenville's a good football team.
It's a good football team. Tell us about Hayden, talk about that game a little bit. Again, you look at the running game, but then you look at what the defense did last week against that Stephenville team. Just talk about that a little bit.
Just completely dominating. It was my first time to see him live, and I'm sure I bugged George all the way. I said, George, did you see that? Look at the way they're doing that, and George is like, yep. But I had a lot of fun watching them. One thing that really stuck out to me about defensive-wise is their tackling. Right. They wrap it up. There is no yards after contact a lot, and that was a big key. When I talked to a few of the secondary guys today, they said, Carthage, they're going to complete passes, they're going to move the ball, but they have got to get onto the ground on that first contact. And that's going to be a big key Friday.
Exactly. We have a question.
Are the pep rallies open to the public or just students?
You know what? To be honest, I know Kilgore's is. Kilgore's at 5:30, and it's at R.E. St. John Memorial Stadium. So I know that one is open, and I apologize. I'm not certain about Carthage. I almost doubt it, because it is on school campus at 11 o'clock in the morning. But I tell you what, I will find out for you, and we will post a note in our stories tomorrow. We'll put them at the bottom of our story. So read the Longview News Journal, look on etvarsity.com, and I will have that answer for you. And that's a good question. Let's get back to the game a little bit, and maybe not even this game in particular, or the matchups, but the fact that these two teams made it. I'm impressed, and we've written about it. We've written about it a little bit and talked about it. The thing that impresses me, guys, this is East Texas. This is Texas high school football, and the expectations that are put on any team are really high. But when you start a season like Carthage did, ranked number 1 in one poll, number 2 in a couple of polls, Kilgore the same. Kilgore starts at 5 in one poll and 6 in 2 polls. So both top 10 ranked teams. Again, I think everybody pointed to this matchup, saying it's going to be an odd thing if it doesn't happen. That's a lot of pressure on kids. That's a lot of pressure on coaches. I haven't talked to these coaches personally about that particular thing. Maybe you guys have, but I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I guess first of all, let's go with Brandon. I mean, what? Again, it's the pressure that's on these kids, but they seem to handle it so well.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, going in, like saying the matchup should have happened. Both coaches told me when I talked to them on Monday, they both said when they scrimmaged each other back in August, they both said, hey, we'll see you December 20th in Arlington. And they both like, all right, let's, and now it's going to happen. A lot of these kids, they even, Blake Bogenschutz yesterday and a couple of them, they even said, we figured we might see Kilgore again, and we knew the only time it could happen is now. They said, we figured, Carthage just felt, hey, we just had to do our part, because they said, Kilgore was, one of the best teams they had seen, and it's going to be probably the best team they see again. So both teams, this will probably be the best team they play all year. And, yeah, I mean, obviously there was a little pressure there, but these teams have built up to this, especially, Carthage, they had a 3-year run where and so the last 2 years not getting there was kind of disappointing. And then Kilgore's just been kind of building. Both teams are also senior laden, real mature, and both coaches pointed that out.
Right. This, I mean, again, classic matchup that I think everybody was looking forward to. Running out of time a little bit here, but just final thoughts, George.
Well, I do want to, I gigged you about it a while ago, Jack, but I do want you to know in the zone, preseason edition of the zone, Jack and them put out, you look across the board at all the picks on the district champions in District 16 3A, it was Kilgore. I picked Kilgore. I'm just saying, I thought Woody, I thought you had a great team all along, and I think you got a great team, Coach Surratt.
Yeah, but he picked Huntington in the 23. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No, but I think the fact that the two teams had such high expectations all season long and been able to maintain that level throughout the year speaks to the staff, the kids, and everything. And it's going to be, the communities are the two of the best fan bases there is out there. It'll be one heck of a ball.
It'll be a great game. All right, a couple of things real quick before we go. We got a couple of minutes here. One thing that we wanted to ask: if you're going to the pep rallies tomorrow, either Kilgore or Carthage, we would love to see your photos from that pep rally. You can tweet those photos to @ETVarsity or @News-Journal, or actually at News Journal with the hashtag @BeastTexas. Okay, I just probably said that all wrong. Tweet them to @ETVarsity or @News Journal with the hashtag BeastTexas, and that's a capital B and a capital T. We would love to see your photos. We think there'll be some great photos from there. Be sure and pick up the Longview News Journal on Saturday morning, but before that, we're sending 6 people to this state championship game. These 3 guys you see here will be doing a lot of writing, game stories, sidebars, all kind of different things. We're sending 2 different photographers. We're going to have tons of pictures. We're probably going to have some video. All of this is going to be on etvarsity.com we'll have pictures probably before the game's over, some just to get you started. There'll be game information quickly, and then all the stories and all the photos will be on etvarsity.com real quickly after the game. So be sure, check out etvarsity.com, pick up the paper on Saturday, and then it's my understanding we're going to have a photo page in the Sunday paper, so you're going to get that too. So keep up with us, and we're going to let you know everything you need to know about that state championship game. Now, to end this, we asked the guys to make their predictions here. And I don't know what everybody's got going, and I just said, let's just check it out, and we're going to hold them all up at the same time. We're going to tell you who's going to win this ball game. All right, you guys ready? All right, here we go.
Go with the Bulldogs.
We're all going with the Bulldogs. All right. Good luck to Carthage and Kilgore. We appreciate what you guys do, and I hope everybody has a safe game. Everybody has a safe journey to the games, and thanks for joining us.